Hi, my name is Silantro, and this video is about the mistakes that you might be doing as a Xiaoyu player. Now, first of all, I apologize for the lack of videos for the past few weeks, or maybe 2 months ago. I really can't do any kind of tutorial because Season 2 is coming. So if, for example, I explain a move or a tech, Season 2 comes and it won't make sense anymore. So it's just a waste of my time, waste of your time, waste of everyone's time. Now, second, I am not going to be hypocritical with the mistakes that I will be explaining, but the thing is, I am aware that I am doing these mistakes and I know how to fix it and I am trying to fix it. So if you know your mistakes and you are not doing anything to fix it, then that's where the problem starts. Now, the first mistake that you might be doing as a Xiaoyu player is stressing out on hit confirms. Now, don't get me wrong, hit confirming is a good thing. But if you are thinking about it in a match, then you are going to be in trouble. So first, let me explain to you how hit confirming works. Now, the best example for this one is RDS 1 plus 2 variations. So we have RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2, and we have RDS 1 plus 2 4. Now, both have a great delay window for the second hit, and both are hit confirmable. So the enemy is set in standing and block all. So whatever move that I will do after a hit, the enemy will be blocking it. Okay? So again, our example is RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2. So if this one hits, then either RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2 or RDS 1 plus 2 4 will be successful. So let's try to delay it with its maximum. Now let's start with RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2. As you can see, even with the delay, the enemy still got hit with the second hit. Now let's try that with RDS 1 plus 2 4. As you can see, the second hit was so delayed, but it still hit. Now, hit confirming is good, okay? But the thing is, it becomes a problem when you think too much of it. What do I mean by that? Now, let's say you're in heat. Let's record this. Now, let's say you have this really good RDS 1 plus 2 combo that you saw online, maybe on Twitter, maybe on YouTube, wherever it is, and you really want to try that. If you want to do that, then go ahead. But let's say instead of doing this and so on, maybe you did your RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2 instead. Then that means you won't be able to do the combo that you always want to do anymore. Now that's going to be a problem because you are putting yourself in a situation wherein, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. What if your enemy blocks your RDS 1 plus 2 and then the enemy will crouch that? Then your enemy will be able to launch you. Okay? Just because you want to do that RDS 1 plus 2 4. So if you do RDS 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2, then your enemy will get hit on the ground. Okay? So it doesn't mean that, oh, I want to do this combo, blah, blah, blah. No. So you need to know what to do in this situation, and you need to know what to do in this situation. Okay? Hit or block. Now, the follow-up for FF1Z, if it gets hit, is AOP2-1. You're -5 when it gets blocked. If you stress out, let's say, for example, oh, it got blocked. No, 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 I can't do AP2-1. I can't do that because I'm -5 and it won't be a natural combo. You are going to put yourself in a situation wherein you won't be doing that anymore if it gets blocked. Okay? So even at -5, you can still do this. Why? Because you can actually risk it, because that's how risks work. Okay? If your enemy blocks it, and there's still that possibility that they can get hit with that, then go ahead and try that. With AOP2-1, you can do some things. You can delay the second hit. Or you can go to a transition. You will be so minus, but the thing is, it will remove your fear of not doing the hit confirm, right? So don't stress out on hit confirming that much. If you do this, or if you do this, you need to know what to do in each situation. You know what moves to do, you know how to get your turn back, you know what attack to do next, you know what mix up to do next. Okay? Don't stress out on hit confirm. It's going Tekken 8 is a really stressful game, so removing that stress will actually make your flow better as a Xiaoyu player. Now, the next one is stage gimmicks or using stage gimmicks. Now, if you are a Xiaoyu player, then you are more of an Oki type of player. Yes, there are no wall Okis, but a lot of Oki works well with the wall. The wall is your best friend in this game. So another thing is stage gimmicks will actually scale your damage lower. So it's better if you use stage gimmicks only when it's needed. Let's say you are ending the round or your enemy is abusing the stage gimmick, then that's where I prefer you to use a stage gimmick. Now, let's do a combo and then we will break the floor. Now, we dealt 92 damage. 1. We lost our heat. Number 2, we dealt 92 damage. Number 3, we are now in this range after the combo, and we need to find our turn again. Now let's do the same combo, but we are not going to break the floor. We dealt 91 damage plus 18. That's 109 damage. Number 2, we still have heat left. Number 3, we have an Oki situation here. Technically, it's still our turn. And then number 4, you have so much more potential to do plays in here. Now in this health, let's say that the enemy will spring attack. It basically killed your enemy rather than going down to the floor and then ending your turn and your enemy is at a distance and basically you're risking your round. I prefer you to not use stage gimmicks that much unless it's needed. Okay? Now the next one is stressing out on doing optimal combos. Let's say maybe you learned a combo online, an optimal combo online, and you know that it dealt the most damage. Now I'm going to do a launcher, which is B1 plus 2, and then we will be doing the most optimal combo for it. This one is from Changbang, so it's like this. That dealt 78 damage. Now, the thing is, it's a good to know thing, but it's actually better if you find more combo routes rather than doing only optimal combos just because you know it. Now, that might dealt 78 damage, but this one might dealt only 73 damage, but that's still good damage. Now I know 1 damage is very important in this game. Now it's going to be a problem if, for example, that's the only combo route that you know, and you hit the enemy in this angle, it doesn't work anymore. In reality, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and you will be still doing damage to your enemy without sacrificing the combo. So let's say another example is doing UB3, and then the optimal follow-up for that one is AOP UF neutral 4. And then you do either your F2 or your F3 one. Now let's say you hit the enemy behind. Your AOP UF N4 didn't work because that's the only thing that you know. But if you know that, oh, I hit the enemy and back turned, what should I do? AOP UF neutral 4 doesn't work. You do your AOP 1-4. And then you go from there to do your combo. Okay? So again, don't stress out on optimal combos. It's fine to do it. But it's better if you know more combo routes rather than one singular combo. Okay? Now the next one is relying too much on heat. Now let's say season 2 is here. They nerfed everyone. F2-1-2 doesn't work anymore at the ball. Your RDS Heat Smash got nerfed. Can you still win a round if those got removed? Do you know what to do at the ball even without the F2-1-2 combo? Do you know how to win without heat? Do you know how to use Hypnotist without heat? If you are nothing without Xiaoyu's heat system right now, and you don't know what to do next season if ever that gets removed, then you will never be a good Xiaoyu player. Xiaoyu is an endless can of paint. If the heat hinders your creativity with this character, then I will be glad that they will remove it. Because you will be stuck with this route wherein, oh, this is the only thing that I know. So in a fight, even without heat, you need to know how to navigate Xiaoyu without using a heat engager or a heat burst or relying too much on RDS heat smash. So have a bag or a box of tools that you will be able to execute well in a match. And in that way, you will be a better Xiaoyu player. That you can tell yourself, oh, I don't need heat. Oh, I can still win a round. Or something like that. Okay? If you're nothing without the heat, you will never be a good Xiaoyu player. Trust me. Now the next one is not securing your round. Now let's say we are in rage mode, and then the health of the enemy is this one. Now let's say you have a staple combo that you just want to do. Let's say we do this. It didn't kill the enemy. And what you just did was you let the enemy go into this distance, which you need to run or go forward. You don't have your turn again. You're not in your turn. And then you need to find a way again to kill your enemy. Your D3 can be blocked. Your, let's say, B4-1 will get blocked and you will be at -14. You need to find a way again to kill your enemy. Whereas if you do your rage art, you basically won the round. So be careful with combo enders as it can cost you so many rounds. Trust me. Now another type of not securing your round is experimenting when the enemy could have been dead. Now let's try a combo. Now let's say we will do that combo and then we will try to experiment something, and then it will show that you will not be able to win that round. Now, let's set the enemy to block all, and then side Ukumi left. Let's say you want to experiment, oh, I want to try F2, 1, B, hip 3. Let's try that. See? there's always that possibility wherein your enemy can block your attack. And the thing is, it didn't secure your round. You are costing your round with that minus 13. Whereas if you secure your round, it will look like this. See? So always secure your round. I don't care if you are in quick match, I don't care if you are in ranked match, and I don't care if you are in a tournament. You secure your round. Don't experiment if the enemy is supposed to be dead. Okay? So, yeah. Now, another one is you are just using the tools that were given to you by other people and you don't know the purpose of it. Now, let's try a simple setup. With a UB3 again, we will do a simple combo. That's our setup. If the opponent stands up, then the back layout will be a throw. But if, for example, the enemy just uses a spring attack, then you won't get hit, and it won't hit the enemy as well. Now let's try with the side roll. Your opponent stood up, your opponent did not get hit with your back layout, and you are in this weird situation wherein you might be in RDS or you might be in the neutral stance. And we are in the neutral stance. So if you just do it for the sake that, oh, I know how to do it, and you don't know what to do afterwards, then that's a mistake on your part because you are just using them, but you are not executing them. So that's why I don't share setups that much, especially in public, because I know that, okay, let's say you have a new tech. Oh, do you have any techs that I could use? Blah, blah, blah. And then you just use them. You don't understand them, you just use them because it works and it makes me win rounds, then you missed the whole purpose of doing setup. You need to understand how a setup works. You need to understand why this one is a good Oki situation. Just don't use them, okay? So, and in that way, you will be able to do more setups and you can actually chain another setup to another setup. There's a big difference with a robotic type of player and a player that uses creativity to play the character. It's okay to learn setups, but you need to know why it works or how it works. Okay? Because if, for example, your setup fails and you don't know what to do, then that's on you for not knowing what to do in that situation. Okay? It's kind of the same topic, but it's not trying out new things. Okay? So if you are stuck with the same Oki over and over and over again, it becomes repetitive, right? But it works for most players. Now, let's say it doesn't work with a higher rank. What if it doesn't work with this type of player? Now, I'm going to do a combo and then it's the same thing, but we will set the enemy with spring attack. Now, let's say that's your setup. Okay, it works. Blah blah blah. Now you saw the enemy did a spring kick, and then you got hit. But you know to yourself, "Oh, that works. That works. It should work. Why didn't it work?" A setup is not guaranteed. Okay, so if, for example, at the first round you did that setup and it didn't work, and you still did that on the second round, even though your enemy knows the counter of it, then that's your fault. Then that's where the mistake happens. But let's say it didn't work the first round, but in the second round, you told yourself, okay, the enemy spring kicked at the first round. What should I do to not make the enemy spring attack? Now, I will do the same combo, but we will not do the FF3 plus 4 setup. Instead, we will make the enemy not spring kick. See, it's a great way for you to adapt to your enemy rather than the situation itself. Because you wouldn't know that the enemy will do a spring kick. After this, if you didn't do your setup. Now you have the knowledge that the enemy will spring kick, you will not do it again, but rather you will adapt to your enemy and you will not make him spring kick by doing attacks that will flip your enemy. Now again, it's okay to experiment, but like I said earlier, don't experiment if it will secure your round. And this is a good way to test out new stuff, and it's a great way for you to improve how you adapt to an enemy rather than a situation. Okay? Now, this one is easy, and it's when you're freezing. There are two types of freezing, and the first one is your move gets blocked and you froze, and you didn't attempt on doing anything to counter your enemy's punish. So let's say we will do a Cali roll, and for some reason, the enemy Nina player will do F3. Now, if you just freeze there, you will get hit. But if you just think, oh, I got blocked, what should I do next? Okay, I have. I can. Oh, okay, are they gonna do a jab? I could Cali roll that again. Oh, are they gonna do a high or a mid kick attack? Maybe I could parry that. So let's try that. Next one. So basically, you need to have snap decisions with every mistake that you make, and freezing will actually just make it more dangerous to you. Your Cali roll gets blocked. Try to parry it, try to Cali roll it, but never freeze. Now, the second type is when you're getting pressured. So let's put our situation on a wall, and then we will switch the position. And then Nina will do some stuff to us. So let's try this. So basically, the enemy Nina is pressuring us when we are cornered on a wall. And you just froze there. When in fact, you can actually do more stuff to stop that pressure or to attempt to stop that pressure. You can do this with B1, you can do this with parries, you can do this with power crushes, and so on. See? You attempted to interrupt Nina with B1 and it got successful. You didn't freeze, you thought of it. Again, don't freeze. You have so many tools that you can use to counter your enemy's pressure. It's okay to keep blocking, okay? But don't linger too much because you are going to be dead with low pokes and a potential launcher if you just freeze there. It's okay to duck and then you got launched with crouching, but it's never okay that you're just standing there and not doing anything and you are using Xiaoyu. It's not acceptable. Okay? Now, next one is not knowing matchup knowledge. Now, this is not a beginner friendly, I don't know, advice or tip, but you need to use pattern recognition with your matches on how some characters work and how players use them. Now, let's say, for example, we have a Warong here, and the Warong will do FF3 and then DB3. They will spam the heck out of that sequence because it's safe. So let's say you fought three Warongs in a row, three different Warongs, and they all did the same thing. You need to have a realization that, oh, they're doing that because it works. So that's where you find a counter for it. So in this case, what we will do is UB4. And you'll be surprised that you can freely do that with other Warren players. Now, another one would be Azucena. And Let's say, for example, you have while running 3. A lot of Asusana players will do that move, which is DB 3 plus 4. So the next time that you do your while running 3 with another Asusana player, then that's the moment that you will check it if they will use that or not. Because if they use that, you need to know how to counter that the next time. So let's say this one didn't work, right? But since you know the matchup, you will do RDS 1 plus 2 instead because it will reach Azucena and you won't get hit with DB 3 plus 4. So that's the importance of having matchup knowledge. It's not just about, oh, I know Zafina's stances or something like that. It's about using pattern recognition to how most of the players use them. Okay, so if you can't recognize that, then you need to start knowing the similar mix-ups that the players use. Now, next one is learning your frame advantage and disadvantage. Now, this one is kind of simple. So let's say the enemy victor will do this. We will block the heat engage or the heat burst, sorry, and then the enemy player, the enemy victor will do UB4. Now, UB4 is an I-15 launcher. So a heat burst will give us -1 on block, and then the enemy player will get +1. So that means his UB4 will become an I-14. If you know your frames, your plus and your minus, even if when you are minus, you can still know what move to do next. What are your fast moves? You have your jab, you have your magic 4, which is an I-11, you have your F1 plus 2, which is a 12 frame move, -1 to that, then your F1 plus 2 from 12 frames will become 13 frames. So let's say we use F1 plus 2. You got first because you know your frame advantage and your frame disadvantage plus your knowledge of your frames. Now, the next one is not risking. If, for example, you're fighting a June player and she does this, and you get hit by it for like 3 rounds already. Now, since the enemy is using that so much, the reason behind that is because it works. You don't know how to counter it, you're not reacting to the low or anything like that. Now, let's say you got hit by it twice. You need to risk, okay? If I'm at the game and, oh, okay, it happened twice already. I know the low is gonna go, but maybe they will do a mid attack. Maybe they will do something like this or this and that. So I'm not really sure if I should risk doing stuff to counter that. What if I duck in it and I get launched? Don't let your fear hinder you from risking stuff. Risk is a big part of Tekken. So instead of, again, freezing, you do this. You might risk something there, you might get floated with a jab, but at least, you tried to counter your enemy and you risked something. If you are afraid of trying out something or doing something, then it's a risk. Okay, it's not just in this situation. Maybe you want to do a risky wall carry. It might work, it might not work. It doesn't matter as long as you tried to have a risk. Okay, and in that way, you will be a more experienced player. You will become a stronger Xiaoyu player. Next one is not using variations. So let's say you want to do your F21B to hip 3. And the Shaheen knows how to counter that. And you are still doing that for the rest of the match, then that's going to be a problem. The fix for that is using variations. So we all know that F21 has a string, which is F214. So let's try to do that. It became a counter hit. Okay? So I'm not saying that you need to not use F21B, hip 3, or something, but if your opponent knows how to counter that, then you need to counter that counter with your knowledge. So another one is you need to use your variations to manipulate your advantage or your disadvantage. So let's say we have 1 down 2. If you stay in RDS, you will be at -3. If you stay in neutral, you'll be at -4. But if you go to hypnotist, you will only have -2. So use your variations in order for you to get different types of advantage and disadvantage. Another example would be, let's say, AOP 1B, which will give you -2 if you go to hypnotist. This will give you -9. This will give you -6. So again, if you know your frames, this is not going to be a problem at all. But if you don't know your frames, then that's where the problem starts. Okay? The last mistake is giving up. If you are in a bad state right now with Xiaoyu, maybe you're not ranking up, maybe your setups are not working, your mix-ups are not working, you get punished a lot, or anything like that, and you decided that you want to give up Xiaoyu, you want to test out other characters, then that's fine. But if you want to commit to Xiaoyu and you just give her up just because she's not winning you games, then that's the mistake right there. Okay, I keep telling this to people in the Discord chat that they want to um, give up on Xiaoyu. They're not winning games. I win on other characters, but not Xiaoyu. But I still want to play Xiaoyu or something like that. Treat Xiaoyu as your partner. You need to communicate with your Xiaoyu that these are the areas that we need to work on, and you need to do that with Xiaoyu. I made this analogy with another member in the Discord as well, and that is don't treat Xiaoyu as an abused Pokemon. So if you watch Pokemon, then you know that some trainers abuse their Pokemon if they're not winning battles and they try to abandon them or anything like that. It's basically giving up. Xiaoyu is a very rewarding character, and if you can't see that, then feel free to go. But if you really want to play her, then don't stop playing her. If, for example, our Heat gets nerfed in Season 2, don't get discouraged. If you still want to play Xiaoyu, you will make her work. Okay? Again, Xiaoyu is your partner. She's not a doll that will make you win games. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you got aware of some mistakes that you might have been doing for the past few games or the past few months with Xiaoyu, and I hope that you find a fix to them yourself, and you and your Xiaoyu will have better fights in the future. Now, if you want to share some mistakes and how you coped up with that mistake and how you fixed it, please share it down below. And of course, everyone can read it, including me. I can't wait for season 2, and I will be sharing a lot of videos for season 2. So I hope you wait for that, and see you guys in the next video. Bye!
もう怒ったよ